A very good afternoon and welcome to a sun-soaked CRN FC as we await the kickoff of this game between the hometown boys as well as Air Force, who have travelled all the way down from Ratmalana. Bottom of the table Air Force facing a tough competition today against second place CRN FC. They've climbed back into second place after dropping a little away from that position after a couple of losses to Havelocks. But this is what the ground looks like. The underfoot conditions will be a little hard. We noticed last week against Havelocks as well on this ground that the dust was coming up quite a bit as the players ran around it, and that's going to mean that there's going to be a fair amount of kicking and some open, fast rugby. CRN FC taking on Air Force in the Dialog Rugby League live from Longdon Place. You're on ThePapare.com, and with me is Sudarshan Apiris, the newly married, I should say, Sudarshan Apiris in the commentary box. He's back in the action here on ThePapare.com as well. Good afternoon, Sudarshan.
Good afternoon, Shanaka, and good afternoon to all our viewers joining us on Sri Lanka's number one sports hub. Yes, good to be back commentating on the rugby and this game. Although many would tip CR to walk away with it, I think Air Force is one of those teams who can really trouble you. Memory goes back to the time when Kandy were beaten at Ratmalana. Many didn't believe that scoreline. They double checked it just to be sure. So Air Force is the kind of team that can really unsettle you. They can turn tables against you. So I'm expecting the Airmen to try and pull something out of the hat, because remember, CRN FC is not with their usual skipper as well, and also one of their flankers in Shara Fernando. With the absence of those two, will Air Force be able to try and make inroads to the CR outfit? We'll have to wait and see.
Yes, it's going to be an interesting one, Sudarshan. As you said, it could be a real banana skin game here for CRN FC, especially coming off a big win. They would have been on an emotional high. They were not the favourites going into that game against Havelocks. They conceded the game, the away leg of that Matthews Trophy, quite convincingly to the Havies. And then when they came out last week, they weren't expected to win that game, but they did win that game, and they won it well also. They won it with a couple of good tries. So what this training week has been like, we don't know. We've not seen the players train, but sometimes after a big unexpected win, you can get a little bit of a dip in intensity, and CR will be hoping that this is not the week that happens to them.
Oh, absolutely. You're absolutely spot on. The moment you get silverware, we know CR Havi's game is always a very special one for both the teams, and the Matthews Trophy, for many concerned, was going to sit at Havelock Park this year. But CR coming back strong. They I think put on the best performance of the season last week. So what they need to do is they need to make sure that they top it up again this week and try and put pressure on this Air Force outfit.
Nice day here today at Longdon Place. 29 is the maximum temperature, and of course during the game we might lose a couple of degrees. 12 kilometers is the wind speed, and that wind will be blowing across your screen pretty much from right to left. That's probably where the wind is going to be coming from, if the wind is going to be a factor at all, but it doesn't look like it will be a factor. The weather is not going to be an issue today, and I think the ground conditions is something that we can't of course show you in a graphic, but I think that's what's going to get the better of the players. We will see players running a lot more. We'll see the ball bouncing a lot further when the kicks land in open field as well. So those are the things that will come into play later on, because Air Force do have a few X-Factor players. Sudarshan, Gayantha Iddamalgoda is one who can really spark a game. He's so quick off the mark, such a brilliant sevens player. So look for him to maybe do something for CRN FC today. But without Omaka Gunaratne, new name in that back row as well. Tisuna Devinda comes into the number 8 position, a position I've never seen him play, and I've been watching him since school, but taking his opportunity when he's been given it. And he's going to grab it with both hands, I'm sure. But it'll be interesting to see how CRN FC go without that general go forward that they get from Omaka Gunaratne.
Well, absolutely. As for Air Force, I think big miss is going to be Nuwan Pereira, the scrum half. Pereira has been absolutely terrific this season for them. He was one of those standout players. But discipline is of ultimate importance, and respecting the referee is absolutely important. And Nuwan Pereira misses out on 3 games, and Air Force will be really missing him. Like you mentioned, Gayantha Iddamalgoda is going to be crucial for Air Force chances, because he's one of those players who can really break the game. And let's see what's lined up for us, the Red Men, and the airmen are battling it out against each other. Yeah, CRN FC, although they are a very, very young team, Shanak, not without a lot of players who are very seasoned in this club rugby league. They've shown signs of a championship side if they can go the distance. Yes, there were little slumps in the first round, but come the second round, I think they've picked up their pieces.
Yeah, they certainly have picked up their game. I think they were a bit disappointed. I think they'll be more disappointed with themselves than anybody else will be, the way they performed in that first round. And I think once they've showed up that line out, once Wajid Fahmy has been fit and been in the side, I think things have gone pretty well for them because they've secured at least that number 2 ball. What they're looking for is another jumper who can really make a difference, maybe in the middle and the back of the line out. I think if Coach Dushant Luke can get that balance right, to have a guy who can compete in the middle of the line out, then he increases his options tremendously with this big forward pack, because you've got a guy like Omarko Gunaratne at the back. Their third row has been doing okay, but you have to look at their front 5, and they've got so many injuries. You've got Shermal Veerasekara out injured, Pandu Kangammana has been out injured as well, so those 2 guys are a big loss, I think, for CRN FC. And in the front 5, Sudarshana, you spoke about young players, but where experience counts most, as you would know, is definitely in that front row. You desperately need those guys in the front 5. So when Sharo Fernando plays, it looked like a different team, and I think Sharo's inclusion last week against Havelock is a big factor. Well, defensively, they looked much tighter, but without the likes of that mongrel in the pack, I think they may struggle a little bit up front, but Air Force is not the pack that looks like they can trouble them too much. So watch for this game to be really fast, really open. One of those games that resembles 15 players playing a sevens game. That's something that I predict might happen to this match. If CR are smart, they'll want to make sure they suck everyone in and make sure they use those rolling mauls to good effect and really tire Air Force out. Don't let them get a sniff in this game. We'll be back here on ThePapare.com with second round action. Air Force taking on CRN FC at Longdon Place on ThePapare.com just after the break.
Unanimous decision.
අලු සීට් එකක් දැම්ම නම් නරකයි.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
සර් සර්ගේ පේමන්ට් එක සෙටල් කරන්න තියෙනවා.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න නම් දෙකෙන් ගන්න ඕනේ. Whatever the need, Ceylon personal loan will be ready for you in just 2 days.
සිලන් පර්සනල් ලෝන් කිව්වා වගේම වැඩ.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with the heart.
වෙඩින් එකට තාම හොටෙල් එකවත් බුක් කරලා නැහැනේ.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්නම් සුදු.
අලු සීට් එකක් දැම්ම නම් නරකයි.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්නම්.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න නම් දෙකෙන් ගන්න ඕනේ. Whatever the need, Ceylon personal loan will be ready for you in just 2 days.
සිලන් පර්සනල් ලෝන් කිව්වා වගේම වැඩ.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with the heart.
உங்கள் கிராமத்தில், உங்கள் நகரில், உங்கள் பிரதேசத்தில் உள்ள வீரர்கள் திறமையானவர்களா? அவளின் திறமைகளை நீங்கள் அறிந்து கொள்ள வேண்டுமா? தமிழ் பேசும் உங்களின் திறமைகளை உலகறியச் செய்யும் உங்களுக்கான யூடியூப் சேனல் www.youtube.com/ThePapare Tamil.
රුපියල් 5කින් මොනවද කරන්න පුළුවන්? 5කින්
අපි කමිටුවක් පත් කරනවා. ඒ කමිටුවේ ප්‍රතිඵල ඔබතුමාලාට ළඟදිම ලැබෙන්න සලස්වනවා. තා මොනවාරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද?
රුපියල් 5කින් මොනවද කරන්න පුළුවන්?
Hello and welcome back to the Longdon Place CRN FC club as we await the kickoff between Air Force and CRN FC in this Dialog Rugby League game, and it's the first match of the weekend. Tomorrow, of course, Poya, so we're starting early today. CRN FC took on Havelocks at the same venue last week and won convincingly by 30 points to 17, thus retaining the Matthews Trophy. Army took on Air Force, the opposition here today, and they won fairly comfortably as well, 28 points to 13 against the Air Force. Kandy took on CH and romped home 45 points to 15 up in Nithavala, and Police, who are closing in on that second place position, lost very surprisingly to Navy. 6 tries they conceded, so the defense really just had gone to sleep. Probably an issue of just not being up for that particular game, Sudarshana. So those were the results from last week. We've got this week's fixtures coming up, and this is the first one today, and Air Force will be taking on CRN FC. CR will be hoping for a bonus point win because they want to try and consolidate their position on this particular table. Kandy way out in front, nobody's going to catch them. I think we have to make peace with that situation we have for the last 20 years or so. So I think the battle is for second place really, with CRN FC and Police SC. Just 2 points between the two teams. Police have lost one more game than CRN FC, but that could all change very, very soon when the two teams play each other as well. Havelocks have played better than that, Sudarshana. They're better than the 4th place team in this competition, I think. And Army, Navy, CH and Air Force bringing up the other positions. Army not looking like they will threaten, but just 4 points in between 2, 3 and 4. So it's going to be a really interesting few games in this second round coming up.
Oh, absolutely. When it comes to Police Sports Club, the reason why they are perched at the 3rd position is because of the fact that they managed to get 8 bonus points. Chanaka, throughout their games, they managed to secure that bonus point. CRN FC, yes, they are in the 2nd place, but just only with a 2-point advantage, mainly because of the fact that the wins that they've gotten, they've had to work really hard. And Havelocks, on the other hand, like you mentioned, they don't deserve to be on the 4th position because they've dished out some really good games this season, but it's those losses that I've been telling. And Police, although they are looking like a team that can go the distance, they will want to try and find a couple more playmakers and not really be relying too much on their foreign players.
Yes, we mustn't forget, of course, that Air Force will have a foreign player available to them today. Playing in the centre position is James Tutevuya, and that's going to be an interesting matchup in the face of Murshid Zubair and Dinu Kamarasinghe in the midfield for CRN FC. We see the little ball boys getting their acts together as well. They take their job very seriously, the ball boys, so that's always good to see, being exposed to top division rugby from this age. So this is the top try scorer of the league, Janidu Dilshan. He scored his 10th try last week, and what a good couple of tries there were as well. He's been, as you were saying before kickoff, Sudarshan, he's been a poacher this year. We've seen him score off intercepts, we've seen him score off kick chases, and on the wing last week when he was moved from 13 to 14, he scored a couple of tries at the end of some good 3-quarter moves. But he's a guy who really knows to manufacture a try out of nothing.
Oh, absolutely. I think it was a good move by Dushan Leko to try and push him to the wing, because in the wing 3 position you'd want a person who knows to finish, and this year's league I think Janidu Dilshan has by far been the best finisher, and deservingly so. He's right up on top. And up next, I think
top point scorer, of course, a man who was in the red jersey last week and has transitioned nicely into the red and white of Kandy, Tharinda Ratwatta. 78 points he has scored, and most of them have come off conversions, Sudarshan. That's probably the feature of the 78 points that he has scored. If Kandy were taking kicks at goal, he'd be way up in front, much more than 100 points probably. But the fact is that they're scoring a lot of tries. He scored 45 tries already, converted a fair few of them as well, which means that a lot of the 2-pointers that Tharinda is scoring have added up to this 78 points. So if those were 3-pointers he was kicking over, he would be well out in front.
Oh, absolutely. And Tharinda Ratwatte is fitting into that Kandy outfit. It has been seamless, isn't it? He's replaced the likes of Gayan Veeraratne, and we don't miss Gayan Veeraratne in that kind of outfit now, and especially with Nigel Ratwatte playing at 10 and Tharinda playing in 12, you have 2 fly-halves, two people who you can attack with. And last week we saw, even without Nigel Ratwatte, Tharinda did not make his presence, did not make Kandy miss his presence.
Read the game very well, better than a lot of players that I have come across in this clubs. The first round encounter between these two teams, and Air Force scoring a couple of tries early on, putting on the pressure against CRN FC. And again, soft tries conceded by the CR. They will be hoping that they don't do much more of that. Another soft try conceded by Air Force. Again, it was Johnny the Dilshan who was Johnny on the spot. And I know you're a Liverpool fan, Sudarshana, but that's what Michael Owen used to do. Just pop up in the penalty box in the right place, the right time to score a try. Eventually, CR winning this game, and it was 28-10 at halftime.
I think Sia would have taken a lot of heart from this game, especially given the fact that Ratmalana, no matter how weak Air Force can be, is a very, very tricky place to travel. CRN FC had to contend with the wind that is ever changing as well. And Air Force putting in a real shocking performance come second half. It looked like they may really play one of those very, very infamous games, but CR managing to hold on and win the game 35 points to 17.
So just 7 points in the second half for both teams in that first round encounter. They'll be hoping for a bit more today as the teams run out to be introduced to the chief guests before this game kicks off. CRN FC, of course, at home And as we mentioned, peaking after a big win against Havelocks last week, and we'll see what that training week has looked like. CRN FC team, we have Ashen Fernando starting alongside his fellow royalist Supun Surya. Dilshan Jaya comes in at the tight head prop position. Mithila Pereira makes a return to the side. Guy and Dilshan, also Wajid Faumi and Jero Dhananjay, who I thought was an outstanding player for CRN FC last week. He added a lot to the defensive impetus. And the next name, Thisila Karuna Tilaka, a man who played in the centres pretty much all his career at Trinity College, now makes his CRN FC debut at number 8. He's played for CR before, of course, but starting at number 8, that's going to be a big one for him. Rahul De Silva makes a welcome return to the number 9 jersey. I was very happy at the way he handled the distribution. Kalindu Nandila comes in place of Chanaka Chandimal. Risa Rafaidin on the left wing had an outstanding game last week. Murshid Zubair, I thought, was the difference between CRN FC's earlier games and the second round games. He's added so much impetus and distribution skills to Dinu Kamarasinghe, Janidu Dilshan and Kevin Dixon, real game breakers.
100% I agree with you with the Murshid Zubair's inclusion. CR definitely looked like a different team, and Tisila Karnatilak, I've seen him play in the third row when he played for Army a couple of seasons ago, but number 8, that is a unique position for him. We'll see how he pans out for that. Air Force Ranuka Medagarada, Lahiru Deanga, Chandan Abiratna, Thimi Ramana, Amanda Dilanka Rajapaksa, Anula Hettiarachi, Abhishek Fernando, Dinesh Veeraratne, largely a fully changed team. 7 changes coming in that 8 for Air Force Sports Club. Jason Karnaratna, Amita Silva, Tuan Pakir, James Tutuyova, Surya Krishan, Kaushal Manupri and Gayanti Damalgoda making up the starting 15 for Air Force. Air Force have opted to change 10 players from their team last week, so a fresh looking team for Air Force.
Yes, surprising that they made so many changes. Maybe just a training week has gone that way, maybe a couple of injuries as well, or maybe the coach just wanted to make sure that they give some fresh players a chance. Here are match officials, Ishan Kabekun, assisted by Dilum Dishana and Kamil Haji. And of course, Air Force dangerous in that midfield with James Tuteova and of course Surya Kishan. A lot of time for him as a player. Very good to straighten the line and break tackles. So it will be interesting to see if he gets a bit of ball off James in the first inside position. Things should get interesting. Murshid Zubair will kick this game off. Kalindu Nandila and Zubair at 10 and 12, 2 school leavers entrusted with the dual pivot job. So let's see how they go on today as Dialog Rugby kicks off on Friday in this early start weekend of Dialog Rugby League action. Jero Dhananjay making his presence felt early on in the game with a tackle that might have been deemed late if it was half a second later.
Good pressure from CRN FC earlier on in the game. They have a chance now inside the 22 meters. They pushed the Air Force back. It's up to the forwards to make sure that they take they execute this line out well and try and present first time ball to the backs, who will be very eager to run.
Wajid Faumi takes one step back and goes up at number 2, but it's easily stolen in the front by Air Force. Outstanding work in the defensive line out there by the Air Force lads, and that won't do too much good for the line out confidence of Supun Mannakula Surya and the rest of his team. Rahul De Silva follows this kick easily. Now gives it to Kevin Dixon, who will try to dance his way through but distributes first time. Dhiru Kamarasinghe takes the contact. Zubair into the 22. Rahul De Silva now to Kalindu Nandila. Has a prop for cover. That was Ashen Fernando. And Rahul this time, Gayan Dilshan giving it out quickly, and that's good hands from CRN FC. Dinu Kamarasinghe should have passed. He had Wajid Faumi screaming for the ball outside him. If he wasn't, he should have been. Rahul De Silva waits to make the next phase. This is good continuity from CR. We've seen them get better at this over the last couple of weeks. Dhananjay muscling his way towards the line.
No, release now.
CR keeping on with the pick and go tactic, and why shouldn't they? Offside is a call from referee Shankar Bekun.
Again offside.
Zubair finds the nice angle for his runner to come back in on. Janinder Dilshan ran a nice angle.
Here. Captain, one penalty there.
Referee giving the option of the penalty to the
One
captain.
penalty here, one penalty.
Rahul De Silva, who looks like he's wearing the captain's armband today, opts to go for the points.
Well, good encouraging play from CRN FC and the correct decision made as well. Every time you come to the opposition red zone, you'd want to go back with points. And also in the run-up to, in the build-up to this play, Shanaka, I was quite impressed with how Murshid Zubair, he had a chance to run around a defender, but he knew that there were two more defenders coming on as support. So what he did was he stopped and waited for his support to come back, recycling the ball, making it available for CRN FC. Now he has a chance to put 3 points on the board for the red men.
Should be a fairly regulation kick. He has a bit of an issue with his range. Riza Mubarak, who is probably the best kicker in the squad, is starting on the bench today, but Zubair can easily do the job from that distance, and he gets his first points for the day today. Former fullback for Wesley College, captained the team, started off as a youngster. It's just 16 years old, playing for the Double Blues.
Well, interesting when you call him a fullback, because in his final season, I don't think the only place he didn't play for Wesley was at number 9. The rest in the line, he played everywhere.
Yeah, he certainly did. Think of my good mate and our co-commentator Abdullah Yusuf also, who pretty much played everywhere from flanker to fullback in the year he captained Royal. See, I will need to get out of trouble here without making too much of a drama about this after they've scored. Rafaidin cuts back in and takes the hit. Wajid Fahmi getting into the contact. Probably not what his coach wants him to do. Would probably like to leave that heavy work for the bigger men.
No. You're off feet.
Huge contest at the breakdown here. But Sia managed to retain the ball, and Zubair, who's playing at 12 but being given the first kicking option. Idda Malgoda, we spoke about him before kickoff, and that's what he can do. Managed to manufacture 17-18 meters out of nothing there. Just slicing through the defense, and now Air Force have an option. Ball went backwards. In fact, it didn't, so referee will call them back for the knock-on. The big prop, big hooker rather, Udayanga, leaving the ball behind.
Interesting play by CRN FC. Zubair, I think, didn't get his target right with his kicking, not managing to clear that time. And he needs to be careful, because Gandhi, the Malgoda, can really create things out of nothing, and if he's not stopped, Gandhi, the Malgoda, can be a real menace. CRN FC need to make sure that they are settled. They scored 3 points, and their exit strategy was not on point this time.
New look third row for Sia with Jero Dhananjaya and Tisila Karunatilaka together. Comes straight out for Kevin Dixon, and Rafaidin now does well to cut back infield, stay within the tram lines. Does so well to get that ball back. Karunatilaka holding on to the ball there. This is number 8, just getting a little isolated there. And conceding the penalty, but good early signs from Sia that they want to attack. Amita Silva puts the ball into touch.
Center line. Number score karan. Number. Center line एक gap पे दिया गया. Number. Full number 8. Yeah, center. Wait. Wait. Yep, center line.
So first defensive line out now for CRN FC. Easily won that time, but the penalty conceded as well. So good jump by flank Anjula Hettiarachi, who's wearing the number 4 jersey.
Captain. උඩදී contest කරන්න බෑ කාටවත්. right? උඩදී ගේන්න එපා. උඩදී ගේන්න එපා යාව. බෑ. උඩදී contest කරන්න බෑ. Go back.
So Ishan Kabekun saying that there was an unfair contest while the ball was in the air. He took the man. So Mithila Pereira will have to be a little careful. Makes his comeback into the side. Of course, Pandu Kangamana and Shamal Veerasekara out through injury, and Shara Fernando out through a suspension, as is Omalka Gunaratna for receiving too many yellow cards this season. So Coach Leuke a little hamstrung by his selections. Udayanga to throw in, and well taken there by Hettiarachi.
Go back. Advantage.
That ball was splintered by Sia, but not legally, so Air Force will have the third penalty in a row. Into the number 9 jersey comes Jason Karunaratne, and he distributes to his big pod of forwards waiting on the 15-meter line. Here they are again, smashing straight up the middle.
Number 3
is Madagedara. Here's Idda Malgodes switching back for the inside ball, but referee says that
number 3.
There's no advantage there.
Number 3.
So referee will come all the way back across the field for the
One penalty there.
advantage. He's offering the choice of 2 penalties, one under the posts. And Madagedara, consulting with his captain, points to the spot just in front of the posts where they will attempt to draw even through the boot of Idda Malgoda.
Encouraging play by Air Force, who managed to hold on to the balls here. Needs to be very careful about the penalties that they give away. 3 penalties given away already, and they are already facing the scruff of giving away too many penalties and conceding yellow cards, with their captain accumulating 3 yellow cards already this season, and also Shara Fernando, like you mentioned. Air Force, on the other hand, they know for themselves that discipline is of utmost importance. They lost their best player this season in Nuan Pereira, who's been banned for 3 games. So both these teams need to make sure that they are disciplined in the act. With the Malgoda again should be a fairly easy kick for him, and has absolutely no problem putting on the 3 points. Game leveled here at the Longdon Place. Not what CR would have expected after they scored, but Air Force looking to threaten early in the game.
3 points apiece at Longdon Place in this Dialog Rugby League encounter between CRN FC and Air Force. If you're just joining us on a Friday afternoon, it's a wonderful day here. A little hot. Of course, you can see the players sucking in big gulps of air, of course. Ground conditions a bit hard, but both teams have come out here to play. CRN FC have showed some attacking intent, as have Air Force with the little ball that they have had so far. And that's a better exit strategy, with Amita Silva dumping this one way downfield. And now Kevin Dixon, who hasn't shown the same kind of dazzling running that he shows in the 7s. Rahul De Silva runs way across field. Mithila Pereira will drag this one up. He was the only one willing to receive the ball. Kalindu Nandila.
No, release now. Clear release. Hey, don't do that.
Wajid Fahmi now cutting back infield.
No, off
Again,
it.
the Sia runners a little isolated, but Air Force just can't get to the breakdown in time. Gayan Dilshan this time.
No. Play on.
Good defense that time. The counter up was straight through the middle.
Release now. Blue release.
Rahul De Silva had the ball on his feet.
No. No.
Pick up and go from Dilshan Jaya.
Play on. Ball is out. Hello.
Straight through the middle comes Udayanga, who's made a nuisance of himself at the breakdown. Kevin Dixon at first receiver. Flat ball across to Reza Rafaidi.
Hey, go back. Blue back.
He's had a few touches so far and done well every time he's had the ball.
Black again. Release now. Release.
It's a tackle, says the referee, so
Advantage.
Air Force forced to release. Jero Dhananjay gets upended by a shooting Air Force defender. Khalidun Andila that time heard the call of advantage and tried to put one on the money for Janindu Dilshan, but the referee will come back for the advantage. And it's a shame. I would like to see Nandila try and run the advantage
Number
plays.
6.
Sudarshana, because it's negative rugby to come back and play for the advantage.
Number 6.
Oh, 100%, Shanak. I'm also a strong advocate of players wanting to run the advantage rather than kicking it away just because they see the referee's hand in their favor. But in the run-up to that, I think CRN FC really did struggle when it comes to the rucks. And when you don't have two regular third rows and also your first 5 has been changed, it's very difficult to get used to the pods that you've been working on, isn't it? It takes more than a couple of weeks of practice in order to get used to those pods as forwards.
And it's not just the pods, I think it's the inclination to go in for those rucks as well. And Marco Gunaratnavino and Shara Fernando both like to hit those rucks hard. So
Stay on the line. Blue on the line.
this is Karunathilaka playing most of his rugby at centre.
Okay. Ball.
Probably doesn't have the same instinct, and that's certainly not his fault.
It's okay. Yeah,
Air
no.
Force managed to bring this down legally that time.
Back. Last foot.
Rahul De Silva with a nice flat ball. Khalidun Andila, the inside switch to Rafaidin, who took it standing though. Again, De Silva under a bit of pressure at the base, not getting the protection. That's what Sudarshana was talking about. Good tackle on Kevin Dixon, who tries to run his way out of trouble. Taken quickly by Janindu Dilshan, tries to pole vault his way over the line. And Wajid Fahmy scores. Wajid Fahmy is another man who knows to score crucial tries and made sure he was in the right place to receive the profit from the adventure that Janindu Dilshan showed there. Took the quick tap in a flash and almost hurdled his way to the line, but Wajid Fahmy managed to pick up the loose ball and a nice finish.
Another very structured try for CRN FC, but they'll take that. Like you said, Janindu Dilshan, after he's brimming with confidence, knows his way to the try line. Quick tap, and Wajid Fahmy benefiting from Dilshan's heroics. Kevin Dixon have had trouble running around players, isn't he? It's not the same player that we know when it comes to the 7th circuit. He's had trouble beating the defenders, but did very well to hold on to the ball that time.
Thought there was a bit of a harsh penalty against Air Force there, Sudarshana. Man who did try to counter ruck, went over the ball and then lost his feet. Probably not what the law was designed to stop. You want to stop people flopping on the ball, but the ball looked like it was available there, so tough call for Air Force, but they'll just have to go back and deal with it. Zubair, nice end-on-end strike, but just across the face of the posts. And the visiting Air Force supporters letting Zubair know what they thought of that kick. Important that Air Force don't let this demoralize them. Sudarshana, they are walking to the kickoff, which is never a good sign.
Absolutely, and the weather isn't very kind to them as well. What they need to do is they need to make sure that they are up for it, because what we've seen from this CRN FC outfit is that if you can keep hitting them, there's a time that they crack. CR on the other hand, they need to make sure that they focus on their patterns and also the game plays that they've practiced all week long.
My biggest problem from an Air Force point of view is that we haven't seen James Tutevoya on the right of your screen there in the 13 jersey touch the ball once. and they really should be looking to get him the ball as much as possible. Good barge up the middle, and here's another one of those educated kicks from Rahul De Silva, makes them very contestable. And here's Dinu Kamarasinghe, and Khalidun Andila will go under the post, no, just to the right of the post, but he gets over for the try. The despairing tackle of Kaushal Manupriya was not enough in the end, and Khalidun Andila profiting from a great kick chase. And again, it comes from that really contestable kick that Rahul De Silva puts up.
Just terrific from Rahul De Silva. It was very contestable, and kudos to all the CR backs who were tracking that as well. And Dinu Kamarasinghe having the good sense to offload it to Khalidun Andila. Kamarasinghe could have gone in himself if he tried a little, but this is what rugby is all about. Try and link up with your teammates and get the job done as easy as possible.
So another quick try for CRN FC there, and that will certainly demoralize Air Force. Came almost out of nothing. Just a drop ball, and that's why it's so important to put up contestable kicks. Speaking of kicks, Zubair gets his second kick over. 5 points for him today. And if this continues, it could be a long afternoon for Air Force. That's the kick we were talking about. See how well weighted it was. Wajid Fahmy went up, contested the ball, and it bounced really kindly for Dinu Kamarasinghe, and Khalidun Andila thought about passing, but decided to go all on his own.
Those are the kind of tries that really put teams off.
This is what CR did last week, which was so good. They kick chased well. And it's one thing to put up a contestable kick, it's another thing to have people contesting it. Thisla Karunatilaka goes off on a big run.
No.
Gayan Dilshan looked dangerously like he played that ball on the floor. And Kevin Dixon now at first receiver thumps this one up to the 50-meter mark. Idda Malgoda thinks about running, but then sees a wall of red shirts in front of him and puts it down to Khalidun Andila. Kevin Dixon steps inside one, can't beat the second. De Silva. It's Jaya. Not a great pass from the prop. You don't expect it to be. Fahmy. Here's Zubair. Zubair injecting some pace. Riza Rafaidin stepping back, rolling out of that tackle that he does so well.
Tackle release.
Such an elusive player. De Silva now. Jeru Dhananjay, first man there to retain that ball. Gayan Dilshan took forward. Rahul De Silva thought about the pass and then sniped. His forwards are there with him, but somebody has to act.
Use it.
Karunatilaka is the man who does so. Picks up and goes, makes good ground. Again Dilshan, Jaya. Nandila. Dixon stepping back on that right foot, but just can't get through. Hands in the ruck, says the referee. Khalidun Andila was the first man there, but didn't have rights to the ball. They used their hands, and CR kicked the ball away and conceded another 10 meters. So good play, but just a little bit too much enthusiasm at that ruck.
Time off.
Air Force are now given a chance to try and break the momentum of the red shirts after their second score. See, it looked like they've changed the gear. Most of their forwards coming into the act, but from here, Shanaka, when you take a look at the attacking points for CRN FC, what they're trying to do is they're trying to use the two corners of the field. We haven't seen the centres come into the party yet. Maybe they have at the back of their mind. I think they are concerned about James and not conceding a turnover to him, because he's one of those players who can really put the foot to the pedal. But CRN FC, I think, are looking to use the two wingers
1 minute
little
water
more
break home
extensively than they have this season.
1 minute water break
Yeah,
home
it looks like a good ploy as well, because this is the kind of rugby they should have been playing from very early on in the piece, because they've got such a good backline, such good finishers in Janitha Dilshan and Riza Rafaidin here today as well, and of course Kevin Dixon at the back. And it's really important that they use those players, which is what they're doing now, between the fly half and the number 12, both who are good passers. Nandila looks to offload the ball, and Murshid Zubair can spot a pass in a crowd as well. So I think that's a good change that has been made for CRN FC in that 10-12 position. Perhaps maybe looking to move Zubair even to number 10 and have Dinuk in at number 12. That would give them even more options. But Coach Sushant Luke liking this dual pivot option that of course has won the plaudits of the likes of Eddie Jones. And who are we to argue?
Also, I think because of the fact that they don't have a very settled set of forwards, it's a very young set of forwards, they'd rather have them running around the field rather than trying to keep it close and losing out, because when you try to lose out on the rucks, that's when the forwards are really demoralized, isn't it, Chanaka? So I think this pattern really suits CRN FC, because they have their grain breakers at the back line.
What's important when you're playing that kind of rugby, Sudarshan, is that your backs have to be ready to ruck. And that's something we haven't really noticed. CRN FC have coughed the ball up a few times, holding onto the ball on the ground. So they really need to make sure they don't let the ball carrier get isolated too much if you're playing this fast-paced game. So that's the only real criticism that I would have in this first 20 minutes or so.
Centre mark. Centre mark.
Yeah, Force are managing to come through to CR's 22 through that penalty. Now it's absolutely important that the Army get their act together and try and score from here in order to keep this game alive.
So the referee screamed before the line out, don't close the gap, and that's exactly what CRN FC did. Wajid Fahmy and his lifters, the guilty parties there.
Calm down.
And CRN FC will concede a free kick, which the captain, Ranuka Madagedra, opts to go into a scrum, which I think is a sensible decision. And really it is time that we saw James Tutevuya getting a sniff of the ball here, make him earn his keep.
Also keep an eye out for the Malguru to try and benefit from James's cashing.
On the open side.
Steady.
Krishna Karanatilaka, a very mobile player at number 8, so they'll be looking for him to do some good defensive work, but you've got to win the scrum first, and Rahul De Silva comes away with this. Janitha Dilshan ran a good support line when he realized that his scrum half had pickpocketed that ball. And De Silva again with another intelligent kick. Bounces this one up for Ganta Malgoda, who puts it way high in the air, and Rahul is back to field it as well. Kevin Dixon to Amar Singh. Here's Zubair. Zubair gives it to Rafaidi. These two seem to have a good understanding developing between them. Dhananjay smashed back in the tackle. That was excellent defensive work from the foreign player. James Tutevuya. Need him to get a little bit more involved in the play. And that left boot of Rahul again, that one seemed like it was charged down, but Rafaidin is there like a terrier to attack the loose ball, but there has been a knock on in there. It was a bit messy, and Air Force will look to try and settle it down a little bit.
So yeah, number 9, Rahul De Silva's boot really posing a lot of questions for Air Force. They haven't found an answer yet to Rahul's kicking. What they need to do is try and put pressure on Rahul. But on the contrary, Rahul is the one who's putting all the pressure, managing to win that scrum as well. Again, coming back to the point that you made, we still haven't seen James to touch the ball from Air Force, isn't it? I mean, when you have a player like that, when you have one of those foreign players playing in the team, you need to try and pass the position to him as much as you can. That's something that police have been doing very well this season, and we see them sitting on the third spot of the league.
Now release.
Yes, I think Mosi Munigosa has been probably the player of the season so far from all the teams.
No, you have hands on the ground. Hands on the ground. Go back.
Air Force putting a few phases together this time.
Go back.
Idda Malgoda stands in the pocket. Thumps this one high and hard. Looking into the sun is Rahul De Silva as he fields that ball. Here's a dangerous Kevin Dixon to the even more dangerous Janitha Dilshan. But the defensive channels have held for Air Force out wide. Both tries came as a result of broken field play.
Roll away.
They've managed to organize their defense.
Back, stay.
Kayan Dilshan goes for a little run. He's carried the ball impressively in this game. Zubair.
Roll away, Blue, roll away.
De Silva may think about the box kick again, but instead he goes to Mithila Pereira. Can't get past the tackle of
First arriving player.
Don't have a number 7 on the team sheet, although there certainly is one on the pitch for Air Force. There he is. But good work there by Air Force to turn that ball over. Mithila Pereira again just going a little too far away from his support players.
Yes, and again, CRN FC guilty of not committing enough players to the ruck, presenting an opportunity to Air Force to try and pounce on that ball, and Air Force doing very well. 25 minutes have elapsed on our clock, and Air Force, it's absolutely imperative that they try and make use of this line out, because every time they've come into the CRN FC territory, they've gifted possession back. This is going to be a very important line out for Air Force. Collects it well.
Amita takes it at the front. And that's a decently constructed maul from Air Force, although Sia have defended it well so far. Now it splinters.
Number two back.
And Sia will need to get bodies behind the ball quickly. Not quickly enough, says the referee, as he has his arm out for a penalty. Air Force opting to still go. That's a lovely handoff to Ranuka Madagedara. Good run from the number 16, Kaushan, who's on the field.
Get back, number.
Waiting for his options is Jason Karunaratne,
No hands.
former Peter Wright scrum half.
No, it's okay.
Air Force in danger of losing the ball, but they'll come back for the penalty. Dragging it down, says referee Shankar Bekun, and Sia will probably face another defensive line out.
Well, I'm quite surprised at the fact that CR have been conceding so many penalties when it comes to line out time, especially defending a maul. The coach has been one of the best exponent of the maul as well, but most times they're not. He's not been on the receiving end of it. Maybe that's why CR is not looking good when defending it. Air Force Sports Club absolutely need to get this one right, and by the looks of it, if they do, they will be able to put 5 points on the board.
Number 2 meter.
Here's another maul, but they sack it immediately. But Air Force do well to keep the ball up. Here's Udayanga. Runs straight into the man on the floor. Madagedara, the captain. Good technique from Madagedara there to do that double roll to make the ball available. Karunaratne gives it to another big pot of forwards. The pick and goes maybe a little too quick for
Get back. Offside.
Karunaratne's liking. Zubair went up way too early. 2 offside, says the referee, and Sia will have another penalty against them if this doesn't result in a try. That is, and it does. Well deserved try there for Madhagadara, the skipper. Air Force get themselves on the board. And with a fairly easy kick to Crum, it looks like it should be a 7-pointer. Jason Karunaratne doesn't look too pleased though. Goes up to his skipper and says, we should have scored that 5 phases ago, mate. But Ranuka Madhagadara gets a 5-pointer.
Good stuff from Air Force Sports Club, who kept it close to each other. They know there's a strength is in their experience for forwards. They have some forwards who've been playing for Air Force about 4 to 5 seasons. But CRN FC seems like they have a lot of trouble when the opposition is in their red zone, and if they're going to give away penalties like that, especially with better teams, they're going to be in trouble. 7 points secured by Gante Malgoda's boot, adding 2 points after that try. Brings the score 10 points to 13. And CRN FC will want to make sure that they finish this first half strong, because they've been the dominant team out of the two. But Air Force have managed to consolidate their position after that try.
Certainly. 15 points to 10 is not a huge lead at all. And here's a mix-up from Air Force, really causing themselves too much trouble. And here's a wonderful run out of trouble indeed from the little number 11, Tuan Pakir. Did really well, did Pakir, after he really messed up in the initial bits. Was it Jason Karunaratne running that one out? Yes, it was.
Inside.
Little scrum half. Could probably have gone a little further before passing that ball. But in the end, a net gain of 60 meters after a botched kickoff receipt.
Was a very intelligent kick by Gayant Idamagoda that time. He did see that the defense was up and taking the option of trying to kick deep and getting possession back. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on www.youtube.com/ThePapare official. You'll be able to experience over 5,000 hours of terrific sports footage and some very unique action. But that is very unfortunate for Air Force Sports Club, giving away possession so very cheaply after that heroic effect of Karunaratne. Udayanga, I don't think he's the starting hooker for Air Force Sports Club, and when a new hooker comes in, we're going to have this kind of problems, Shanak, especially in the line-out.
Certainly will. I think that time Angelo was having a bit of a go at his lifters, and rightly so, because he has been pretty good in the line-out. Air Force missing Veral at number 8. Real rock for them at the back of the scrum. Tisila Karunatilaka probably lucky to get away with that tiny knock-on at the back of the scrum there. Referee was a little unsighted.
Now release now!
But he's gone backwards. Supun Wandakula Surya now carries this ball forward.
Blue, roll away, release! Number 17 back.
Rahul De Silva again with that box kick. Beautifully taken by Gayanta Iddamalgoda, but the chase was good. And although Iddamalgoda took it well, there was nowhere for him to go. James comes into the scrum half position, but he hasn't really got the ball too much yet.
Last foot, Reds. Number 5, go back. Number 5, back. Offside. Number 5.
So again, another penalty for CRN FC. And quite
General
rightly
warning.
so.
No warning.
Referee Shankar Bekun speaks to the captain for the day. General warning
Number 5. Repeat it.
to number 5.
I told you.
Mithila Pereira is very upset, but has to take a seat.
Well, this is on the way, isn't it? CR conceding too many penalties, and Air Force really need to take the maximum out of this 10-minute period, they will have the numerical advantage. They need to make sure that they capitalize on this line out, because the maul has been working well for them, and that's a very good kick. Will give a lot of confidence to the forwards as well, bringing them close to just 10 meters out from the whitewash. Air Force need to make sure that they go in with a set plan and try and execute it to perfection here.
Have to win the line out first. Udayanga makes his weary way to the ball. Has been a long half of rugby. It's been quite intense. The ball has been in play for quite a while. Anjura Rajapaksa is the one and only target in the line out, it seems. Just like Wajid Fahmy is for Sia. Now that Mithila Pereira is in the bin. But that's a well-constructed maul. They've got it at the back. Jero Dhananjay looks like he might have got his hands on it, but Air Force win it back and present it to Jason Karunaratne. This is almost a carbon copy of how they scored their try in the last few minutes. But number 8 Veeraratne breaks a couple of tackles.
No! Release down!
Taken towards the line.
Last foot on.
In there is flank Abhishek Fernando adding his muscle. Here's James Tutavuya. Looks like he's got very close to the line there. And yes, they have. Air Force have scored again. So just as you said, they've got to take advantage of the 10-minute sin bin. They've done that in the first of those minutes, Sudarshana.
Absolutely terrific. Air Force managing to equalize. We'll take a look at that. That tells you a story. The hooker having his hands on his head. And with Dinesh Veeraratne being the scrum of 2 Trinitians at the number 8 position. Tisila, skipper of 2012 Trinity outfit, and Dinesh Veeraratne, I believe, played his final year in college in 2003. So his longevity has been pretty good at Air Force. Now Gayanthi Damalgoda has an opportunity to try and put Air Force in front for the first time this game.
Bad miss by Damalgoda. Put the commentator's curse on him, we did. But it's 15 points all. It would have been nice for Air Force to go into halftime with even a slender 2-point lead just to get their hopes up. But CRN FC really need to make sure that they don't relax too much. I think they went ahead, Sudarshan, and just took their foot off the gas.
Well, absolutely. I think that was the case with CRN FC, because remember those 2 tries came in quick succession, and it looked like the CR didn't have to work too hard to get those 2 tries. Air Force managing to exit through Gayanthi Damalgoda. Now it's absolutely important that Air Force really defend this line out well. They've just managed to equalize, and they need to make sure that they try and defend this one and do not let CR run away just before half time.
Well, there would have been one message sent on by Coach Dushant Leuke, and that would have been, don't come into half time without a lead. I think his players will know exactly what that means. As I said, only Wajid Fahmy as a real option, so it will be a pretty easy read. Gayan Dilshan at the front of the line out. This is where the confidence in that line out comes into play. Sia have gone 20 meters back. And Nidda Malgoda will quite happily thump this one down the field. Kevin Dixon misreads that completely. Runs straight into the tackle.
Last foot.
Murshid Zubair at this time entrusted with the clearing duties only as far as Idda Malgoda on the 10-meter line. He goes cross-field, and Sia have been allowing this ball to bounce just a few too many times. And as we
What do you
said,
want? 22?
the
Stop. Yeah.
ball bouncing on this hard turf means that Gayanthi Iddamalgoda has to come all the way back to the 10-meter mark where he kicked that ball. Softer ground would probably have seen that ball stop either in goal or just before in goal. But unforgiving conditions here.
Absolutely, I think Iddamalgoda would have gotten a little too used to conditions he has at Ratmalana, which is a very, very nice soft surface there. With over 2,000 available to take care of that surface, but here in the middle of
Last 1 minute.
Longdon Place, it's a very hard surface that you have. And now CRN FC with a chance to try and attack. Nobody on the short side of the field, Shanaka. That's because of the fact that they are reduced to 14 men, I believe.
Yes, they've had to take a man in, and I'm surprised they didn't use that side of the field through Karuna Tilaka. Johnny the Dilshan coming off the blind wing, and it was a repeat of the move that they scored off last week.
Go back. Offside number 4.
But Rafaidin just couldn't beat the last tackle. And that will probably be a yellow card for the Air Force player as well, because that looked like it was cynical.
Captain.
Tisila Karunathilaka at the bottom of that ruck as well. He's earned his keep. And it's the line-out jumper, Anjula Rajapaksa, who goes to the bin, and that's a huge loss for Air Force.
Come down.
Bigger even than Mithila Pereira's loss for Sia. 2 7-men scrums now against each other.
Last play.
2 locks in the bin, and what will see are up to do here. We'll have to wait and see. Because remember, the airmen also have lost a player from their scrum. And it's going to be 7 against 7 here for CRN FC. Will they look to try and shove this one forward? I don't think so, because having a makeshift number 8, it's always a little difficult to try and contain the ball.
Stay bound.
I'm going to back Tisila to run it. No, decides to give it out. Here's CR.
Zubair finds Dixon. Dixon straight through the gap. Kevin Dixon. Ball nicely out in front of him. And he needs no second invitation to slice through. And he's been waiting for that try for a long time. Kevin Dixon hasn't had the same kind of fortunes that he has had in the Sevens game in this season. And he will definitely be relieved to get that try under his belt.
Top stuff from CRN FC, managing to send that ball out wide as soon as they could, opening up space in the far corner. Here's how it happened. Quick ball out, Nandila to Zubair and Dixon.
Mark. You're right, half time.
Speeding through that gap that was opening up. Gayanthi Iddamalgoda, I thought, was the guilty party. He should have closed in on Dixon, not letting him come through the ranks.
And another good early pass from Zubair. He saw that it was a 2-on-1. He saw the 2 faster men outside him, and he knew that giving that ball early will give them the opportunity to run into that space. Janidul Dilshan also did well to hold his width. He didn't come in field, and that's what made the difference in that try. So good play all around from the CRN FC backline. Rafaidi now entrusted with the kicking duties out from this angle. He's played well on the left wing. That's a good thump, but goes across the face of the posts again. And Rafaidin and Murshid Zubair suffering the same fate from their conversions. Referee Abekun having a small chat with the Air Force player, and that will be half-time. Here on ThePapare.com, we are live at the Dialog Rugby League game between Air Force and CRN FC, and at halftime it's 20 points to 15 in favour of the home team. We expected this to be a comfortable win for CRN FC, but as you were saying early on, Sudarshan, it's the kind of game that you could really slip up on.
Yes, CRN FC managed to go in front with the last minute try. This was the first try that came through. It, like Shanaka mentioned, I thought that was a little harsh call as well. The second try coming through, a brilliant kick of Rahul De Silva Dinu Kamarasinghe and Wajid Fahmy doing the hard work of chasing that, and Kamiduna Nandila benefiting from the good work by his teammates. Air Force opted to keep the ball close to each other, and then the skipper Madagedara touching down for their first try, with Gayanthe Dumalgoda adding the extras, and it was James Tujoa who touched down for Air Force's second try, which started off in similar fashion through a line out, and this was the final score from CRN FC, managing to get ahead of Air Force just before the half time. Good ball out to Kevin Dixon from Subair, and CR go in front.
Good movement off the ball there from the CRN FC backline for their tries. We'll be back in just a moment.
Unanimous decision.
අලු සීටිකක් දැම්මන නරකයි.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
සර් සර්ගේ පේමන්ට් එක සෙටල් කරන්න තියෙනවා.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න නම් දෙකෙන් ගන්න ඕනේ. Whatever the need, a Ceylon personal loan will be ready for you in just 2 days.
සිලාන් පර්සනල් ලෝන් කිව්වා වගේම වැඩ.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with the heart.
වෙඩින් එකට තාම හොටෙල් එකවත් බුක් කරලා නැහැනේ.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්නම් සුදු.
අලු සීටිකක් දැම්මන නරකයි.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්නම්.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න නම් දෙකෙන් ගන්න ඕනේ. Whatever the need, a Ceylon personal loan will be ready for you in just 2 days.
සිලාන් පර්සනල් ලෝන් කිව්වා වගේම වැඩ.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with the heart.
உங்கள் கிராமத்தில், உங்கள் நகரில், உங்கள் பிரதேசத்தில் உள்ள வீரர்கள் திறமையானவர்களா? அவளின் திறமைகளை நீங்கள் அறிந்து கொள்ள வேண்டுமா? தமிழ் பேசும் உங்களின் திறமைகளை உலகறியச் செய்யும் உங்களுக்கான யூடியூப் சேனல் www.youtube.com/ThePapare Tamil.
රුපියල් 5කින් මොනවද කරන්න පුළුවන්?
5කින්
අපි කමිටුවක් පත් කරනවා. ඒ කමිටුවේ ප්‍රතිඵල ඔබතුමාලාට ළඟදිම ලැබෙන්න සලස්වනවා. තව මොනවාරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද?
රුපියල් 5කින් මොනවද කරන්න පුළුවන්?
A very good afternoon and welcome back to live coverage of this Dialog Rugby League game between Air Force in the blue and CRN FC at home in their traditional red shirts. They're leading by 20 points to 15, the hometown lads, but this game is far from over because Air Force have shown that they're here to play and they have troubled CRN FC every time they've had the ball in hand. CRN FC have been guilty of some fairly poor discipline and conceded a number of penalties in that first half. They'll be hoping for an improvement of that, of course, and this man with the ball in hand, Gayantha Iddamalgoda, is one who can maybe spark something for Air Force if they are to come up with a remarkable win. The bottom place side at the table, so unfortunately for them, history and statistics don't serve them well, but anything could happen in these banana skin games at the Dialog Rugby League. Supun Vannakalasuriya runs on to a long ball from Rahul De Silva and Murshid Zubair, who is playing at 12 but doing most of the kicking. Knocks this one up to force the error from Air Force. Yes, Gayan Dilshan makes the first pass. And they gain 15 meters, do the CR forwards. Kalindu Nandila with a long ball out to Kevin Dixon, who's got a bit of confidence now since he scored. Rafaidin cuts back in field and waits for Rahul De Silva. Kalindu Nandila shows and goes. He scored a try of his own, looking for another. Into the 22 goes CRN FC, showing much more urgency than they did towards the end of that first half. Supun Vannakalasuriya. Dixon gives it to Wajid Fahmy. Infield. Rahul. No. Handles again in midfield. He's in that big central pod that CR are using. Vannakalasuriya. Another nice long ball. Dinu Kamarasinghe will look for the fend. Stays on his feet. Amarasinghe looking towards the try line.
Advantage.
No release, says the referee Shankabe Kun. So it looks like CRN FC will have another free play now. Across the face of Gan Dilshan, it goes to Jero Dharanjay, and Dharanjay is over under the posts. Excellent work from Rahul De Silva to keep that ball moving quickly. And Sia have been told a few things at half-time that have really improved their play already.
There's a very good play by CR, and also, like you mentioned, the continuity that Rahul De Silva brings is immense to the CR team. Air Force, on the other hand, will be really concerned at how they've defended in this first exchange of the second half. They've done very well in the first half, but come second, they haven't been able to put in their best foot forward when it comes to defense. Zubair now with a chance to add 2 more points and shouldn't have much trouble. Yes, adds in the 2. So CR going distance themselves from the Airmen, 27 points to 15.
Nice to see Zubair recovered from a knee injury that held him back. School level, lovely fend from Jero Dharanjay. It's the quality of the pass, isn't it? Right in front of the player, Sudarshan, that allows you to just get that extra half a yard of space between yourself and the defender to make the fend a little bit more useful. And after a 20-15 half-time score that I think Air Force would have been happy with, suddenly it's a 12-point gap.
Well, absolutely. That's what really kills teams. Air Force now need to make sure that they try and contain CR inside their own half and try and put pressure as much as they can. Remember, both teams are reduced to 14 men due to 2 of their locks being found guilty and spending time in the naughty chair.
Mithila Pereira and Anjula Rajapaksa still cooling their heels, and we have a player down in back play, which is what the hold-up is. Referee Abekun just waiting for the strapping to be completed.
Very interesting fact, Shanaka, the guy who's getting attended to, James Tuyo, the Fijian who plays for Air Force. He's the 3rd highest try scorer, managing to score 6 tries this season so far. We haven't seen him touch the ball still. So once he only touched the ball once and scoring another try. So he's already scored 7 tries. And if Air Force can use him a little better, I think that will really benefit them.
Wajid Fahmy held up there in the Tendai Tamarira hold. Not sure that's something that players should be looking to perfect though. Jason Karunaratne absolutely mauled there. Hasn't done too well with the kick returns, but doesn't look like Air Force are dropping their number 8 back in the kicks.
Blue number 13 off. Blue number 13.
And as we say that, the 3rd highest try scorer, or the joint second highest try scorer with 7 tries, along with Buddhima Piyaratna, James Tutevuya, will take a seat, and that's a big loss for Air Force.
And also by the looks of it, it looks like it's a hamstring, and that is serious, isn't it? Whenever those hamstring muscles gets pulled, it's not something that you can try and recover from quickly.
No, not at all. Hamstrings are probably one of the most serious muscular injuries you can get, especially for back. He may see his season at Air Force end. Hope it's nothing serious though, both for his sake and of course for Air Force's sake. Desperately need him. He scored 7 tries for them already, 1 already this afternoon, but likes to score them from close quarters.
Steady. Number 17.
Dropping on his knee was Sia's number 17. Was Dilshan Jaya on the near side of the scrum.
That's a terrific kick. Terrific kick from the Air Force kicker, who manages to bring his team onto the CR opposition half, just 5 meters off their 22. Now this is a brilliant opportunity for Air Force to try and create something. All this seems like Udayanga has been replaced.
By Shamika Kaushan, the number 16 jersey. He will throw in. And ball well taken there by the replacement, because you remember Rajapaksa is in the bin. He's been their chief line-out jumper. At that time it was in the red scrum cap, Abhishek Fernando, who took that ball.
Use now, use it. Use ball. Use ball.
Doing everything, Fernando. Because he's at the back of that maul now, controlling it. The referee says use it, but the maul is well since over.
Ball is available. Ball is available.
Jason Karunaratne goes digging like a badger after that ball. And that's an interesting one. Referee said use it. Was the maul over or wasn't it? That's the question that needs to be asked, because if it is a maul, there's no obligation for you to roll away. So the referee would have deemed that it was a tackle. Amita Silva that time just knocks it towards the 5-meter line.
Yeah, Galauna. Use it, call kara.
Referee just explaining why he called use it there. And back comes Anjula Rajapaksa for this crucial line out, which means that Mithila Pereira also will be back on the park unless he has been replaced. Taken by Abhishek Fernando that time. Really needed to go left that time, Air Force. It's good defense by CR that time as they come away with the ball.
No.
That was excellent work in defense from CRN FC's forwards. Allowed Rahul De Silva just to pinch that ball. Air Force just got a little surprised by the success of their own maul, which went sideways at a rate and just couldn't recover. Just didn't have the experience to go against the grain of that maul.
You read my mind there, Shanika, because I think Air Force didn't expect their maul to go that well, didn't know what to do next. Should have good teams when they're mauling. They know how to slow down, when to regroup, and then get your legs pumping. We've seen that. We've seen CRN FC doing it a couple of times very well, and also Havelock Sports Club really exploiting that.
Wajid Fahmy, nice ball to the back. Haven't seen much of that. Zubair finds a little bit of space to the left of Ida Malgoda, who puts a little jink in, manages to beat the first tackle, but unfortunately knocks the ball on. He's trying his best, Ganthi. The Malgoda is only a wee man, but he's done plenty of grunt work for the airmen this afternoon.
Air Force losing out two of their best players, Tirina Bandara to Candy Sports Club, and also don't see the likes of Charit Senaviratna, who's been one of those standout players for them in the middle.
So Mithila Pereira's early shower means that Lai Ryoma is on the pitch in the second row. That means that Wajid Fahmy really is the only jumper on the field.
Set. Steady. Very good. Say.
Coming in the second wave was Kalindu Nandila. Now Rafaidin stepping inside. Good run from Rafaidin.
No.
Not held, so he can get up and go again. And that was good work from Air Force. It looks like Surya Kishan on the far corner who managed to force that turnover. And Rafaidin got up and went, but just lost control of the ball there long enough for the turnover.
I think CRN FC really desperately need to be patient when they have an opportunity. That time Rafaidin forgot the fact that he's going to get isolated. It was just him. If he could go the distance, yes, by all means he should try and go the distance, but you need to size up your defense as well and try to make that decision whether you will be able to go the distance. If not, you need to make sure that you are up on your feet until your support arrives. Rafaidi missing the trick that time, conceding a penalty, and those are the little things where your team can get frustrated, isn't it, Shanika? They've scored earlier on in the first half, similar to the first half. They've scored early in the second half, but since then, CR haven't been able to really make an impact in this game.
Yes, they haven't. But they've got their bonus point, which is something they'll be very happy about. Anjula Rajapaksa, that looked dangerously close to being on the outside shoulder, that ball. But Air Force now looking to run it after they've lost James to Itavoya. Long ball over the top, but Rajapaksa wasn't expecting it. Bit of a sevens pass from Idda Malgoda. There's a bit of a galloping run by Air Force inside their 22. They need to be playing this kind of rugby in the other 22. It's a booming kick. Finds its way almost to the 40-meter mark. Just about, well, maybe the 30-meter mark perhaps. CRN FC will have a nice attacking platform here as well.
Line.
From the line out, they don't have the danger of the foreigner in midfield also to deal with now. Nice floated ball from Supunwanda Kulusurya to the back of the maul. Jero Dhananjay scored one try today already, looking for another. Guy and Dilshan, they go behind that quarter four. Is Dinu Kamarasinghe with a nice short ball, and that's a lovely pass. Excellent short ball from Dinu Kamarasinghe to Kevin Dixon, who did well to pass into space as well. So often Dixon would go, but that time he passed. And it looks like Idda Malgoda and Dixon have both injured themselves in that collision, but in the end, it amounts to a try for Janithu Dilshan.
Terrific pass from Dinu Kamarasinghe. So many times we praised the wingers for their finishing, for how good they are at their finish, but most times they're not. The players who really create those tries get overlooked. And I think Janithu Dilshan have really benefited from having a centre like Dinu Kamarasinghe in the mix. Kamarasinghe, he's really grown from the time he played for the Antonians. Take a look at this. Nandila to Kamarasinghe, straightens it up. Quick short pass to Dixon, and Dixon also had the good sense to take two men and offload it as well. And Janithu Dilshan, the league's highest try scorer, you weren't going to stop him from that distance.
Certainly has been enjoying his time on the wing. And given the current state of his game, Sudarshana, it's kind of understandable why Coach Leuke has moved him there, because he is a real finisher. But to play in that number 13 position, he's got to improve his defense a little bit, and he's got to improve his decision-making skills. So perhaps just maybe another half of a season on the wing, just to get a little bit more understanding, and then an off-season where he can really work on those two elements of his game.
Time on.
100% Shanak, I think. And also when you know that particular player he's in the form line of finding his way to the try. Why not move him to the wing, isn't it? And also, when you're a player who's used to scoring and you play as 13, the chances are you might try to hog on to the ball and not releasing your backs. But very, very concerning signs for Air Force. On to the right of your screens, Gantid the Malgoda limping off the field. He's been their best player by far this game, and that's the second casualty Air Force have suffered this game, and it's not a very good one.
Looks very much like he will be playing no further part this afternoon. So two of the most influential players for Air Force now on the injury list, Tuit Avoya and of course now Id the Malgoda as well. That's not going to be helpful for Air Force as they look to resist this CR onslaught for the next 25 minutes or so. CR will have a little bit more confidence now at 33 points to 15. Should actually read 32 points to 15. Harit Bandara has come on in place of Rahul De Silva. Adimesh Ponzo in the number 20 jersey has made his way onto the field for Air Force as well. Here's Dixon. Khalidun Nandila. Here's Rafaidin again. Has done so much work on that left wing. Is he going to go all the way? Riza Rafaidin brought down 7 meters short of the line. Harit Bandara is there. So is Dilshan or Tisila Karuna Tilaka, who would love to score a try from the number 8 berth. Supun Varnakalasuriya lays it back. Here's Bandara. Went backwards off Gayan Dilshan. Kevin Dixon, who started it all off. Kick passes to Wajid Faumi. Back in field goes Janido Dilshan. Faumi again to Murshid Zubair. Zubair rolls back in field and makes the ball available, but referee will come back for the penalty as Riza Rafaidin was brought down and they lay all over him. Prevented the ball coming out quickly, so the referee will come all the way back for the advantage. Khalidun Nandila thinks about taking it quickly. Probably should have, given that Air Force were maybe at 6s and 7s. But instead they will go for the line out.
Center line. Defense line.
Now the forwards will be licking their fingers, Chanaka, just trying to decide which one of them will get their name on the score line. It's a no-brainer that this will be a mall that they're going to set up. Backs having their own plan. Most of them resting because they know this one is not going to come out.
Well-deserved rest also for the three quarters who've done quite a bit of work, and Supun Varnakalasuriya is the man who scores. Abhishek Fernando goes in well after the try has been scored, but to no avail as Varnakalasuriya starts and finishes. And Sia, you're not going to go a whole game without scoring off the rolling ball, and that's exactly what they do.
They got no brainer there. CRN FC wanting to set it up now, starting to run away with it. Supun Varnakalasuriya, the man who touched down for the red shirts. Air Force will have a long, hard look at where they are now, because at the start of the second half, they were still in the mix, 15 points to 20. Soon after, they gave away that soft-looking try in the opening exchanges. That's when their downfall has begun for Air Force Sports Club. Now what they need to do is try and minimize the damage that CR is doing to them, because they did play very well in the first half, trying to unsettle CRN FC, but they need to find inspiration from someone. They've lost two of their best players. Now they need to make sure that they find leaders in their team, as Riza Rafaidin tried to put in the extra two, and this so successfully.
Good kick from Riza, and that will be his last contribution for this afternoon at least. as he goes off the field to be replaced. Coach Leuke decides he's seen enough of this Air Force team that he's confident enough to put some replacements on for some game time.
Time on. Off. Time off.
And it's a lack of depth that finds Air Force at number 8 in this 8-team competition, Sudarshana. They've got a few names from the school season, but don't seem to have mustered up enough of a squad to make things happen. And a bit of fitness also.
Time on. Back.
Sia have been making good ground with the ball in hand. Reza Mubarak is on the park and again finds plenty of distance with the boot. Zubair makes the tackle. Quickly taken by Janida Dilshan, tries to find the ball, tries to find the pass rather.
10 okay. 10 okay. 10 okay.
But Sia through Shehan Eranda, unable to hold on to it. Shehan Eranda, former Josephian flanker, making an appearance for the red shirts. Ifam Farid also in the front row. Royalist replacing another Royalist.
Time off.
Wonder whether Fadil Adani is injured as well. He was one of those players who did very well in the first round for CRN FC and was a very capable jumper as well for CRN FC, especially given the fact that they don't have a jumper in the locks. Fadil Adani, I think, would have been a perfect match here.
Did have a shoulder problem, I think, Sudarshana, which he hasn't quite recovered from yet. Fresh legs coming on for Air Force, also in the form of Sachaka Fernando in the number 5 jersey. Quick off the back goes the Air Force number 8, that's Dinesh Veeraratna. Imesh Aponzo rather in the number 20 jersey.
Now release! No.
Tisula Karunatilaka has grabbed onto his opportunity. Doesn't get many of them for Sia given the talent in this back line, but he's the kind of player, if you ask him to play at prop, he'll say yes please.
Blue number 8.
And also one of those players who haven't been able to reach the heights that he reached while he was in school. He was a terrific player for Trinity College, was their place kicker as well. We haven't seen that Tisla Karnathalika still in the Dialog Rugby League. So he'll want to make a telling contribution whenever he gets an opportunity.
Here's Reza. Kevin Dixon stepping in field. Looks like Mubarak has come in on the wing perhaps for Reza Rafaidin. Forwards opt to keep it with them this time. Quick ball for Bandara, looking for Mubarak again. Dixon stepping back in field but not making ground.
No.
Looks like he may have lost the ball. It's a cardinal error in that position. Dixon needs to hurry back to where he came from as a fullback. Lots of shifting around in the back three for CR. And in the end, it takes Amita Silva to put this one into touch.
Interesting, isn't it, Shanaka, Reza Rafaidin, beg your pardon, Reza Mubarak, having played as a fullback his entire career. In his twilight season, gets a new position as a winger.
Blue line එක තියාගන්න blue.
Well, it's a position I thought he needed to move into a long while ago. I think he needed to play at fly half for a long time. And I think he would have made an excellent fly half. He wasn't very comfortable playing it though. Steven Sivaraj makes a welcome return in the red jersey for CRN FC. They've been waiting for him for a while. Suffered a really bad ankle break. Harit Bandar gesturing for his forwards to roll around him, but there was a forward pass there.
Time off. යාගේ number එක දැක්කද?
The referee might have seen some foul play here.
I think that was the high tackle. He knew as soon as he went for it. Yeah, the moment he went for it, he knew it was a little too dangerous, the player. But CR now with a chance to try and get into the 40s with us closing in on the final quarter of the game.
Time on.
Mubarak, no problem putting CR 5 meters away from the try line, and Supun Surya might want to get his name onto the scoreboard again.
Line එක කෙලින් තියාගන්න.
Well, he would if he was on the park, Sudarshana, but if Farid is on, and he would certainly like to have a try to his name. Shehane Randa is the man in front of the line out, but doesn't oblige. And now Jason Karunaratne trying to run his way out of trouble behind his own try line. Not sure that's the most intelligent thing he's done in his rugby career. They desperately needed to clear that ball. And now they've provided CRN FC with a golden opportunity under the posts. And Thisila Karunatilaka's eyes will light up.
Oh, for sure. Karnatilaka, what he needs to make sure is to remember that he's not a natural number 8. So picking that ball up is going to be a little tricky. He got away the first time despite knocking that ball.
Number 18.
Despite a
Number
slight
18.
knock on. Let's see whether he'll be
Bye.
trying to go the distance here.
Bandara feeds. But the call is to go wide, and Kevin Dixon drops the easiest catch of his life. It's a beautiful floated ball from Reza Mubarak. It's a lovely decoy run to drag the winger in as well. And you can see the former fullback consoling the current fullback, but that really should have been a double for Dixon.
Oh, absolutely. Kevin Dixon, I think, covered his face out of shame because he knows that it would have been one of the easiest passes that he would have ever got. Take a look at that, Reza Mubarak. Well, how did that get through?
Just took his eye off the ball. Very simple, basic error for all the young players watching. Watch it into your hands.
Steady.
Referee not happy with something in that front row. Jason Karunaratne feeds. Coming off the back is Imesh Aponzo and makes good ground and takes a little bit of pressure off his kicker.
Stay.
If they can find one, that is. Yes, eventually. That's a lovely kick as well. Thumping kick. Proper 50-meter gain. Taken quickly, and Mubarak gives it to Zubair, who swings it right across the field to Janidu Dilshan. Dilshan puts the afterburners on, stays in field. Bandar.
No.
Sivaraj. Mubarak looking for the ball a little bit more. It's a lovely ball again. The floated one that Dixon catches this time.
Okay, good.
So it's good to see that both Mubarak and Dixon happy to repeat the ploy. No nervousness, no anxiety. And Jason Karunaratne flies in and makes a tackle on Murshid Zubair. You have to ask yourself, how on earth can Jason Karunaratne ever tackle anyone high? But he managed.
It's dangerous.
Yes, I just take a leap for Karunaratne to try and tackle a person high. Hopefully, it's nothing serious.
Blue captain.
And he will. Oh, seems like he's going to be sent to the bin and will not play any more part of this game. Karunaratne, and that's not ideal for Air Force, isn't it? Being reduced to 13 man.
Well, yeah, he flies at him, gets him around the neck, and I think if the previous one was a yellow card, this definitely was a yellow card. Perhaps also a little lucky not to get a red because there was contact with the throat. But I think a yellow card is probably just under the circumstances. But although he goes to the bin, Sudarshana, just a guy who's down 39-15, still running after the ball, still wanted to put those tackles in. Jason Karunaratne's work ethic can't be questioned at all. Just a little bit of indiscipline, frustration creeping into the game. Amra Singh, lovely ball to Mubarak now to Janidul Dilshan.
No.
Just couldn't get past the final defender that time, Dilshan. Zubair access scrum half.
Release.
Karunatilaka gets close. Here's Lahiru Yomal throwing himself into that ruck. A good pass from Murshid Zubair again. Really quick hands to drive. Thisula Karunatilaka eventually gets down there. And again a wonderful pass from Murshid Zubair to create the opportunity. And Thisula Karunatilaka will be hoping against hope that he has scored, but no, he hasn't. Throws his arms up in frustration. And Karunatilaka, today is not the day for him to buy his lottery ticket.
Clearly not happy, has a little bit of chuckle as well. But going forward, I think this one, he's not going to let this one go. He's going to pick this one off. It's going to be a number 8 break for sure.
They send on the big prop for this crucial scrum. Gayan Jayasekara coming on.
Jayasekara, I think, was rested for this game. But Coach Levuke deciding that he needs to have a little run in as well. 10 minutes remaining in this game according to our clock. And will Karunatilaka opt to go on the short side because there's nobody on the short side for Air Force. Yeah, decides to keep it in.
It's picked up by Lahiru Yomal there, who was a flanker. And that's the try. Eventually comes for Ifam Harit Bandara rather. That's an interesting one. Did it come forward off the boot of Thisula Karunatilaka? If it did, then Yomal would have been offside. That'll be an interesting one for us to check on the replay if we can get one, but it doesn't matter because Harit Bandara has been given the try.
Yes, CRN FC now closing in on that 50-point mark. Here's Mubarak with his first attempt at goal. Well, no problem for Riza.
Here we see it again. It does come forward off the boot of several boots.
8 more.
So don't know whether Yomal was offside there because it has come off the boot of the number 8. But, well, try stands. It's interesting that Coach Leuke has chosen to start Mubarak from the bench. Place kicking such an important part in closer games, so be interesting to see against other opposition what he plans to do, because neither Rafaidin nor Murshid Zubair have shown that they can get the pressure kicks. Mubarak coming into first receiver again, and this is a tactic that Sia have used plenty today, just to thump that ball beyond the feet of the last line of defense. Trust their chase. Penalty coming for CRN FC, for Air Force rather. Maybe too little too late. 46 points to 15. Can Sia cross the 50-point mark is probably the most relevant question for us to ask now. And of course to possibly discuss a man of the match, Sudarshana.
Absolutely, Shanak. I think CR will be really looking to try and get that 50-point mark. And as for the Dialog Rugby player of the match, I think there've been a couple of contenders, but honestly for me, I think it's the CR number 12, Dinuk Amarasinghe, who's stood high amongst the rest, because for me, Dinuk Amarasinghe has been doing that real hard work of creating the tries and not being the man finishing it, but he's been very unselfish. He was part of 2 tries, so I would pick Amarasinghe to be my player of the match.
Air Force mauling this one. Again, not sure whether this is the tactic at this stage of the game. Well ripped that time from Guy and Dilshan. Nowhere to go for the Air Force runners. Sia intent on maybe finding that 50-point mark. Imesh Aponso playing against his captain Murshid Zubair on the other team. Anjula Rajapaksa. Here's Abhishek Fernando trying to free up a little bit of space for the winger. Was that a high hit? We'll have to come back. Yes, it was. Playing advantage, says the referee, so Air Force will have another opportunity. Guy and Dilshan did really well to bring that man down safely, but they will come back for the high shot.
Number 23 high.
Yes, Dinuk. Sorry, Sudarshan. I mean, Dinuk Amarasinghe has put in a good shift today, but I think Riza Rafaidin has also been excellent. I must mention Rahul De Silva, who contributed so much before he got taken off, but he played only about 50 minutes of the game. Murshid Zubair has also been really good today. Thought for me it's a toss-up between Zubair and Amarasinghe.
4 minutes.
Wajid Fahmy has also been good, scored a try. Let's see if one of those two can do something before the next 2 minutes are out to make sure they deserve the spot.
CRN FC yet again giving a penalty after another, but the young scrum off, the replacement scrum off rather, making a hash of that penalty. Darshan Dabare.
Just come on in the dying minutes of a game that you're chasing, so really have to feel for the youngster.
All right, here's a chance to try and see which one of the centre field will take up that player the match position.
Harit Bandara. Steven Sivaraj. Here's Dinuk. Gives it to Mubarak, and here's Janidhu Dilshan. Tries to evade the fend. Dilshan cuts in field. Oh, goodness me. What a try. What a brilliant run from Janidhu Dilshan. We might have to change our man of the match because he's been so good. He's scored a couple of tries already and done a lot of work. But I think he has been the man of the match on a few occasions. And that wasn't a match-winning try. But this kind of work from Dinu Kamarasinghe, just standing those two players up, that's what you were talking about, Sudarshana. And that being said, I think perhaps see how he finds the propulsion and just walking that tightrope. It's just the ability to get the push away with the fend and get yourself even further away from the defender. That really is something that can't be coached, Sudarshana. That is something that has to be in you. And perhaps, yes, with that, we will call Dinu Kamarasinghe our man of the match for the amount of work that he's put in midfield to try and create these tries. The outside backs have scored plenty of tries between them, and that's because of the hard work that has been done in midfield today.
Absolutely, and like you mentioned, I think honourable mention to Murshid Zubair, who played at 12 but did a lot of the kicking before Riza Mubarak came in. And Janidhu Dilshan, what a player he's turned out to be. The man who has the honour of having scored the fastest try at a Bradby. A real poacher's try that within 2 minutes of the kick-off. He's really doing himself proud in this 2019-20 Club Rugby League.
There's nothing poached about that last try, of course. That was just a scintillating run. The kind of run that you're used to seeing the greats make.
It's ever so close to the try line as well, Sean, the touch line as well, with 3 defenders crowding on him. Still finds a way to go right underneath the post. It's how you pace your run, isn't it? And also your vision. And kudos to Dinu Kamarasinghe and also to Riza Mubarak for putting Dilshan in space. And if CR plays like this, they will be able to try and solidify their position as the second-ranked team, because Kandy have really run away with the title this time.
Certainly have, and looking at this match, police will be on notice. Reminded me a bit about like that try that Johnny May scored on the weekend for England. But I dare say Janidhu Dilshan's was a little better because he had plenty more distance to cover, a couple more defenders to beat.
And also this one he scored in a winning cause rather than Johnny May's, which is in a losing cause. French are getting the better of English. Couple of games are lined up for tomorrow when it comes to the Six Nations front. And just before this game's over, Shanaka, were you backing to take the Six Nations crown this time around?
Well, I like the way Ireland looked. France can be a little erratic. I haven't seen Wales play properly yet. I think against Italy is not the kind of judgment you can make. So maybe a little early to tell, but I think Ireland looks the side to beat. There was some obstruction there, accidental offside. And that's the game. So CRN FC do manage to cross the 50-point mark through that scintillating Janidhu Dilshan try. 53 points to 15. Murshid Zubair and Imesh Aponso chatting to each other, old schoolmates of course. And this game has finished very convincingly in favour of the red shirts, who hang on to their second place on the leaderboard. Kandy are pretty untouchable, but they've put down a marker in the last 2 weeks to both Havelocks and Police that they will not be caught easily. And both those teams will have to definitely lift their game in the next couple of matches for them if they are to try and wrest second place away from this CRN FC team.
Absolutely. The boys from the Longdon Place, the home team CRN FC, despite this being a very fluid game, they managed to get the job done. the absence of their skipper Umar Kagunaratne and also senior man Shahrukh Fernando. This is how the tries came about in the second half. Dinu Kamarasinghe putting Kevin Dixon in a brilliant space and Janadi Dilshan benefiting from that. Just 10 meters away from the try line. And this one had Supun's name written all over. The moment it left his hand in that line out. Air Force were kept scoreless in this second half by CRN FC. Harit Bandara coming in as a replacement scrum half also managed to get his name on the board. But it was this try I thought was the best try of this game, Shanak, and he's going to definitely make the cut for the try of the week segment.
Certainly, Reza Mubarak also straightened that line nicely. Just gave him enough space on the outside, and my goodness, just treading down that touchline like it was a tightrope. 8 tries in the end, so did they get a double bonus for that? Probably not. He would do with it though. 2 tries to Air Force. They were in the game at half-time, but then suddenly I think their conditioning let them down, and they were just no match for CRN FC at after half-time. 5 conversions and 1 penalty goal to Murshid Zubair early on as well, and the hard work of Dinu Kamarasinghe in the midfield, winning him the man of the match title for this match as well. Air Force getting thumped by CRN FC here at Longdon Place. They will remain at 8 on the table. They will have to fight their way with CHN FC to try and maybe come up to number 7 if they possibly can, but it looks very unlikely given the depth that they have on this team. So that brings us to an end of this game, but we'll look at the upcoming features in this week 10. Army playing Kandy tomorrow, and that will be on at 4:15 at Valisara, and we have Police taking on Havelocks also tomorrow at Police Park, so it will be an early kickoff for the Havies game at 4:15, and Navy taking on CH also at Valisara, and that one should be an interesting game. Definitely some old foes meeting each other. Next week's fixtures: Police taking on Air Force, Havelocks take on CH, Navy take on Kandy, and Army will take on SIA at Valisara as well. So most teams choosing to play their home games at Valisara. That's Army, and that's going to be an interesting one for SIA to travel down there. They don't really travel down there too well, so that's going to be an interesting one as well. From Sudarshan Apiris and myself and the rest of the ThePapare crew, it's been great bringing you this game. Thanks a lot for joining us on ThePapare.com. We'll be back tomorrow with a lot more action from the Dialog Rugby League. Until then, it's goodbye for now.
Unanimous decision.
අලු සීටිකක් දැම්මන නරකයි.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
සර් සර්ගේ පේමන්ට් එක සෙටල් කරන්න තියෙනවා.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න නම් දෙකෙන් ගන්න ඕනේ. Whatever the need, a Ceylon personal loan will be ready for you in just 2 days.
සිලාන් පර්සනල් ලෝන් කිව්වා වගේම වැඩ.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with the heart.
වෙඩින් එකට තාම හොටෙල් එකවත් බුක් කරලා නැහැනේ.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්නම් සුදු.
අලු සීටිකක් දැම්මන නරකයි.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්නම්.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න. දෙකෙන් දෙන්න.
දෙකෙන් දෙන්න නම් දෙකෙන් ගන්න ඕනේ. Whatever the need, a Ceylon personal loan will be ready for you in just 2 days.
සිලාන් පර්සනල් ලෝන් කිව්වා වගේම වැඩ.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with the heart.